Hey everyone, how's it going? Megan here. So today I wanted to share how to best optimize your time on tech and also how to balance your time on tech. So I'm a millennial. I love technology. I love social media. I love being able to connect with you all in this way. But especially since COVID, a lot of our tech time has gone up. And it's for a lot of different reasons, whether it's for entertainment and escape, or if it's for work and making an income, or for school and education, or just to make life easier with all the new things that have been able to come out and make our life more enjoyable and easier. So with that, I have felt that struggle, the tug of war of how do we utilize technology to our advantage, but also not tip over into a point where it's becoming unhealthy. Technology and social media is designed specifically for users to stay on it and to make it the most enjoyable experience for our brains. And so it takes a lot of, I think, discipline and habit and mindset to find that balance because it's really easy not to. So have you ever felt like your eyes and your brain get really tired from being on social media and technology too much? And I'm talking about like TVs and laptops and phones and tablets and anything that lets out a blue light into your brain, into your eyes. Have you ever felt like you're creatively drained, like you have no ideas are coming through, you feel like you're hitting a wall, burnt out, like you just have so much brain fog, that drive you normally might have or the energy you might have to get things done is feeling really low, and just like overall exhaustion. And then the last one is comparison. Have you ever noticed you start to compare yourself with everybody else's highlight reels and everybody else's life on social media, and you compare your life to a TV series you're watching? And it's really easy to get wrapped up in that, especially when social media is something that we are consuming the minute we wake up, right before we go to sleep at night. And so let's talk about ways that we can optimize technology and use it in a way that's going to make our life better, especially in the season we're in now where being connected to each other is so important and being in community is so important, and using technology so that we don't have to go out into the world as much and just limit our time in the public for our health and safety, but also have a balance and not be on it all the time. So I want to share a little bit about my experience the past couple months, why I've been mindful of what that looks like for me and what I've learned and things that I've put into place that have been really helpful for me and I hope will help you. So first off, a book that I read, or I'm reading now, that has been really big in the past year is called 24/6 by Tiffany Shlain, The Power of Unplugging One Day a Week. So my first tip is to take a day off of technology, if you can. So I know that this is hard, and a lot of these things are going to be hard because, like I said, technology is built and designed to keep us online. So we have to be strong individuals and intelligent humans and make choices for ourselves that are going to benefit us long term. So start small. This book is so good. She talks about, tactical tips, but she also talks about the history a little bit. She talks about tech in a human world. She talks about the algorithm and addictions. But what's most interesting is that this author comes from a tech and film background. So she has built her career and her passion is around technology, and now she's writing a book talking about how we find that balance. So if somebody whose life and career is around technology and they are inviting us to find that balance, I think it's really important that we do that. So one day a week, my first suggestion would be to not go on social media. I try to log out. Most of the time I just don't go on the app. I make sure that my day is kind of booked with other things, and I usually do this on a Sunday where I'm, out running errands, I'm doing meal prep, I'm planning my week, I'm busy with family things. And this is especially handy if you have, an afternoon or a day where you're going to be busy with family stuff. Can you intelligently make a choice to maybe not carry your phone with you or not utilize it or only use it for photos? Set yourself a limit where you're not going to scroll. So one day a week, can you be intentional about not being on social media? And read that book, 24/6. Very, very good. So let's talk about boundaries. first of all, one day a week is a boundary, but can we talk about maybe daily usage and how those little boundaries are going to add up? Downtime is a setting in an iPhone. So I'm not sure about other phones, but if you have an Apple phone, you can go into your settings and it's called downtime. And I have set this up and it's so helpful. So there's a reason that all the apps on your phone are super colorful and they're intriguing and visually pleasing, because if they were ugly and dull, we would be less likely to open them and go to them. Like the Instagram one is these beautiful pink, purple colors and we want to open it because it makes our brain happy. So what the downtime app does is it changes the color of all of them and it puts a little hourglass timer on them and you can set a time. So mine I think is 10 o'clock, 10 or 10:30 to 7 a.m. So you can choose what apps are in this downtime setting. I have all of them except like texts and phone calls basically. And so it gives you, if I'm on Instagram at let's say 9:50 or 9:45, it gives me a reminder saying, downtime starts in 15 minutes. And that gives me a cue, and it's implemented this new habit that I'm not going to go on the app. So my time is done, my work, if I'm working at that time, I'm done, I can't do that anymore. And because all the apps are dim, this like darker color, I'm less likely to, even when I go to my phone, let's say I get a text message, to go to the app because I can see there's an hourglass, it's not as engaging to look at, I'm less likely to go on. Part of the reason why this is important in the morning and at night is because that's when you need to step away from technology and eliminate that blue light so that you can fall asleep quicker. There's a whole bunch of science around this, and if you want to dig deeper, go for it. I've read it, but I'm not the best at reiterating it. I'm also not an expert. So if you want to know the specific science related things that has to do with the brain and all that, Google it. It's super fascinating. But you should be off technology an hour before you go to bed. Sometimes we have a hard time falling asleep, and I've done this where I'm scrolling right before I go to bed, and then 30 minutes more has passed than what I thought, and my brain's winding, and I have all these ideas and things and thoughts coming, and it's hard for me to fall asleep. And even when you do physically fall asleep, the brain is still winding down and working. So if you can eliminate that time and let yourself fall into a deeper sleep quicker, do that by putting your phone maybe in a different room. Maybe you just plug it in on the other side of the room. And instead, change that habit. So if you're a scroller before you go to sleep, maybe you read, maybe you listen to music. Spotify has like a sleep timer where sometimes if I'm like really loving a playlist or something, I'll play it for 15 minutes while I'm going to bed, or I'll read my book, or a podcast is another example. Just anything that eliminates you from scrolling or from like Netflix binges too. So try to sub that scrolling or Netflix binge habit in with something else. In the morning, so same thing, before you go to bed, when you wake up. This one is hard, and it's easier when your phone's across the room and are a different place. I've also noticed that because I wake up at like 6 a.m. normally, 6-ish, my apps are still that gray color and has the hourglass on it still. So even when I look at my phone, it's that quick reminder that, oh, I'm not going on here yet today. Because then you are automatically hit with everybody else's needs and wants, and you go on social media and hit with everyone else's highlight reels, and it's the first thing that's going through your brain. And that time is really sacred in the morning to set the tone for your day. So I encourage you to, again, can you sub that habit out? So maybe you press play on a podcast right away, or an audiobook. The 5-second rule is another great one where you count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go and do what you're supposed to do. So count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and jump out of bed, or grab a book, or if you are into affirmation cards, you pull a card. What can you do instead of grabbing for your phone? And this is going to take some discipline. And in the morning, believe it or not, it's easier than at night, because in the morning, your brain is at full brain capacity, whereas at night, you're pretty tired and might have decision fatigue and you've been thinking all day. So you have the best chance of that self-discipline and setting the tone for your day in the morning by not grabbing your phone and using that as time just for you to check in and notice what's coming up. All right, next for boundaries is scheduling workouts or yoga classes or whatever movement that you might be doing virtually ahead of time and into your schedule. We want to optimize our time on social media, and because a lot of us are using it virtually, I'm teaching yoga classes online, I work out online, I do almost like 99% of my work now is online. It's important that you optimize your time and you set a boundary where you say, I'm using this hour or 45 minutes to move my body and to connect with my community, and I'm going to use that time to do that because it's going to benefit me physically, mentally, and emotionally. instead of using that hour scrolling social media. We want to be mindful that we're not spending 1 billion hours a day, because I'm sure most of you or some of you are also working online. So you start to add up those hours. You're working 8 hours online, then you're going to work out or do yoga online, then you're going to do some Amazon shopping and order your groceries online. Like, that's a lot of time. And then imagine adding on 2 more hours where you're watching Netflix and scrolling for no reason. So in what ways can we be mindful of what we're doing? And for me, scheduling my workouts and scheduling my yoga classes ahead of time have helped me be more mindful of how much time is being spent there daily, so that I'm not getting drained and exhausted and teched out simply from scrolling too much earlier in that day. Blue light glasses. This is a great tip. I love blue light glasses. I've been using them for over a year now. If you don't know, they literally just look like regular glasses. I have a few pairs, lots of different colors, lots of different brands. Just go on Amazon. I think the one brand I got is TIJN, or is that what it is? TIJN? Yeah, TIJN. They're great. I find them to be really helpful. They just help take the strain out of your eyes from the blue light because they block it. But give them a try. I find them to be super helpful. What else? Replace with a new habit. Okay, another great tip is related to habit stacking. So if you've watched any of my past IGTVs, habit stacking is something I've shared before. But when you do catch yourself scrolling or on a Netflix binge without meaning to, and you just kind of land there, snap yourself out of it and commit to doing like 10 push-ups or doing 15 seconds of jumping jacks, so that when you do recognize like, oh, I got sucked in, oh, I've been scrolling too long, drop your phone, drop your device, and do the jumping jacks or do the push-ups or whatever you're going to commit to, like 20 squats. I don't know. It's just a great fun way to like bring a game into it and move your body and change your mind. So as soon as you do move your body, you're going to stop that flow of concentration and direct it somewhere else. Self-guidelines. So what I'd like to challenge you to do is to create maybe 2 or 3 self-guidelines for yourself that's going to benefit your relationship with technology. So I shared a lot of things today that I hope are helpful for you. And I'd really love if you committed to 3 of them or 3 of your own. And I'll share the 3 that I have committed to that have been super helpful. So 1 has been scheduling my workouts and my yoga classes. That's been 1. It's been super helpful. 2, the downtime setting on my phone. Love that. That's been huge for me. My 3rd one, I wrote everything down so I wouldn't forget anything for you guys. Oh, not scrolling my phone in bed. This has been the hardest one. It's been a guideline I set for myself, and sometimes I fail, and as soon as I notice that, I just drop my phone, drop the app, and I get out of bed. And these things are not going to be easy. Some of them are going to be really hard because they might be habits that have been ingrained for a long time. But what I think is important is that we are allowing the benefits of technology to come into our life instead of tipping over into the side where they're not. Social media is a way for us to feel connected, which means it's going to benefit our mental health. But if we're spending too much time, it's going to be detrimental for our mental health, and it's going to affect us in negative ways. Just care about yourself. Show up for yourself. Don't spend 2 hours and know you're going to feel guilty and feel shameful and give yourself crap for wasting all that time. You need to show up for yourself. You need to care about yourself. You need to make yourself a priority. You need to make your mental health a priority, your physical health a priority. I want you to get the benefits out of technology and social media because I love it. And I'm a millennial and I make an income and I run businesses online and I get to teach online and I have made so many online friends here. And I just can't eliminate it from my life entirely. I'm not moving off the grid. But I'm tired of feeling burnt out and teched out and exhausted and playing the comparison game and feeling anxious and having it kind of run my life instead of me choosing when I invite it into my life. So I invite you to do your research. Maybe you grab the book 24/6. Maybe you read some articles and then create some self-guidelines for yourself that's going to invite in more balance. I hope this was helpful. I hope this inspires you, especially going into the colder seasons where we're going to be able to be outside less, which means a lot of us are going to move that time that we would spend outside with fresh air onto sucking up more blue light. So just, again, be mindful, care about yourself deeply, and make these choices because they're only going to benefit you short term and long term, and therefore that ripple effect where they're going to benefit the people around you and the family and your loved ones. So thanks for joining. Thanks for hanging out. I'd love for you to share your guidelines with me if that interests you, and we can chat about it. And I'll talk to you guys soon.